Yeah, well, sending off changes everything, you know, in terms of the dynamic of the game, shape. Had to sacrifice Chrissy Willock. They had a couple of people out. Bieta, the centre half, was out, Medina on the bench, so we felt we could dominate the set pieces. That proved to be the case. We could have scored a second just before half time. I thought, great ball by Steph, and we just missed out from Johan. But the sending off, you know, that changes it. And I thought the boys dug in the second half, but the value of the squad was shown tonight. Don Ball, George Thomas went in the squad for 2 or 3 games, and they showed their quality this evening, and their contribution was clear for us all to see, and the fans tonight who were magnificent.
What with the red card incident, Mark? I mean, the first thing to say is it was a very, very poor challenge, wasn't it?
I don't know what happened. Was their player booked? I don't know. It was booked, and there's a really poor challenge on Dion.
The reaction could have cost you.
Yeah, it could have done. He knows that. I thought he was having a very good game, Dion. He made 1 or 2 great interceptions, showed his pace against a quick wide man, and was really pleased with him. I'm thinking about Saturday, thinking about playing at Blackburn and his pace being important, and that happens. That's football. But the reaction from there, again, Dom coming on, playing out of position, centre half, thought was tremendous for us. 1 headers, 1 tackles, and I can keep repeating myself, but that's the game. The Championship, the business end, you need a squad to contribute, and we had to change shape, we had to change personnel, had to look after Steph, look after Ilias, but all the boys came on and to a man did outstandingly well.
Is that one of those you learn from something like that? In that sort
as
of
a player, Dion,
yeah,
absolutely. He's 22, and that's football. Is it right? No, he's made a mistake. But that's you see his reaction, devastating in the changing room. He realised the implication of what could have happened, could have cost some players. He's apologised, didn't have to, but showed his character. But the boys responded, and it's those moments that can galvanise a team, a club, in an important season. You know, everyone would expect, especially when that goal went in off the ricochet off the floor, everyone was going to hang on for the last 5 minutes, but they showed their quality and I hope rewarded the fans who gave them magnificent support all evening.
You mentioned about moments, you do get moments, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a really big win even before the match, to get the 3 points.
Yeah.
But the way the match panned out, just how important a win does that feel?
It's really important because we're not a team that can sit back and just try and defend a lead or defend something. We're at our best on the front foot. And to a man in the change room at half time, that was a message to stay on the front foot. And we had to be sensible, we had to manage the game well. But you saw chances, Ilias breaking away, Luke breaking away, Albert breaking away. We could have maybe done better on those opportunities. But then when it came, right to death, obviously the yellow card on Lukey, but the first touch by George, Mo controlled the ball, looked after it, it could have been smashed away somewhere. Looked after the football, great first touch, we got a midfielder arriving at the near post and we get the reward. So, it shows to a man they worked tirelessly. I haven't seen the GPS data yet, but there'll be a few records broken tonight, I'm sure, but they worked so hard.
Their goal was pretty spectacular. I sort of could knock the wind out of you a bit, because it came out of nowhere, but you reacted well. Yeah,
we had to keep calm, didn't we? That's important. That's what I'm saying, the players deserve credit. Get easy, and likewise the fans, because again there was no panic, and I think the boys just defended the goal, got first contacts. Disappointed with some decisions in terms of free kicks being given. It felt a bit more of a one-way traffic in that respect, but that's another story. But to a man, they stood up and defended the goal really well.
Obviously the tactical plan, changed on the red card, but you went without Gray or Austin. Obviously Dyke's still out injured as well, with Conor Willock and I guess Chair sort of playing as more of a striker.
We wanted to play overload the midfield. That's what we wanted to do. I thought we went too long, too early. If you look at the game, set from Senny and the centre halves, if they go too long, too early, they're going to win first ball, obviously, with their centre halves. We were too far away to pick up second ball. So there's another pass for us. When we got that pass through Sam, wing backs going high and midfielders dropping out, we looked a better team for the last 15-20 minutes. But as I say, tactically they're a good team. And of course when they have the overload, in terms of sending off, they're going to maintain width and put balls in behind and test you. But they responded really well.
I imagine it was a difficult decision to take Chris Willock off at half time. What was the thinking behind that? And I assume it wasn't an injury, just a tactical thing.
No, you can look at it. I thought Sam and Jeff worked well from a defensive point of view midfield. I want to look after them. We've got a big game Saturday, we've got travel on Friday, another big game against a team we'll be hurting from a late goal conceded tonight, I understand. They're a good team, Blackburn. Huge respect for Tony and the way he sets his teams up. So we know what we face, so we have to look after Steph as skipper, because that job then became Doggy's. You can see them working, Albert working. So we had to look after Steph, look after his. I had to try and look after all of them. But the fact is, we had to try and see the game out. But yeah, that was the thinking behind it. No more than that. We wanted legs, and Luke gave us that, and George gave us that.
You sort of mentioned George a minute ago as well. I mean, obviously he's not had loads and loads of game time this season. So for him to be involved in a moment like that, I'm sure he wants to play more. But that must be, really good for him.
Yeah, I don't want to sound prophetic, not pathetic, prophetic, I don't understand that, but we spoke to the boys and said, you know, there's 10 weeks left. Your moment might be to play every second of every game. You might be making the last-ditch tackle the last game of the season, but everyone's got a role to play and a contribution to make. And you saw that tonight. As I said, I'm repeating myself now, but Dom and George, Ozzy, etc., are winning the squads for 2 or 3 games. So to not be in the squad, to then play in a B team, get 90 minutes and maintain your fitness and then deliver that performance tonight, that's why the squad's so valuable.
How are Lyndon Dykes and Lee Wallace? Could they be back for Saturday?
Yeah, they could be very close. You know, it's just got to be, again, just got to keep repeating ourselves. A game every 3 or 4 days is going to have consequences. They're close. We're going to need our squad, absolutely. But you saw the shift put in by the boys tonight. So again, we've got to rest well, recover well, prepare well on Friday morning, shape-wise, travel north and deliver on a good performance.
What sort of problem has Lyndon Dykes got? Is it anything?
He just took a knock. He took a knock to the, how can I describe it, a certain area. Yeah, he's okay. He's not far away.
Fair enough. Is Sam McCallum as well?
Sam played 90. Sam played 90 with Ozzy Kakai to keep them fit. Again tonight, you look at it and go, you could easily change the formation, but you know, put Mo to left back, for example, kept Johan and Jimmy, and had Ozzy come on. But they played 90 to keep them ticking over. So Sam's very close now. He's had 3 games. He's in a good place. He's ready for selection now.
Cheers, Mark.
Mark, how pleased were you with Moses Adabaju's performance today?
Yeah, delighted with Mo. Mo's a player that, you know, we signed him at Brentford from Orient. I think we paid $1 million for him then. He then moved Premier League for a lot more money, and he needed another big move to a high, even higher to a major Premier League club, which was thwarted by injury. He's quick, he's rapid, he's a great character. He's always, at the moment, he's had 2 fractured kneecaps, I believe it was. He's been fighting back from injury the whole time, which is hard for a player. But he's a tremendous athlete, and I've got enormous respect for Moses. And we saw tonight, left or right, how good he can be. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's my voice, because I know Mo really, really well. And sometimes QPR fans haven't always seen the best, because he's always coming back, but he's an outstanding player with so much to offer.
He was up against Bowler tonight as well, and he was obviously Moses is probably more right-footed than left-footed. So, yeah. How difficult is it for him to play on that left?
No, well, again, Bowler's left-footed, left on the right, and then the right on the left to drive inside. So we felt that Mo could deal with that. You know, he's got 2 great feet. Look at the cross he put over for the goal at the weekend. So he's got 2 great feet. He's quick, he's rapid, and he can deal with the football, as you saw with his involvement in the winner. So just delighted for him. You know, he gets frustrated with himself when he has a performance dips, but he's an athlete. He's a good footballer, and he's got a big role to play between now and the end of the season.
I think we talk about the championship being a battle of attrition, and you making sort of big calls for short-term sort of calls for long-term games. Was Charlie Austin, with obviously Lyndon had his problem, Charlie Austin not playing, other than being tactical, was that also thinking, you know, we need him and he can maybe not do, you know, each game, you know, Tuesday, Saturday.
Charlie Austin's got a huge role to play on and off the pitch for QPR in terms of he's a senior player. The mentoring role in the dressing room is so important. You know, the message he gets across to the young players is so important. But it is about tactical. Tonight was purely nothing about Charlie and Andre. Tonight was changing the tactics to try and win that game of football. Simple as that. It was sometimes centre halves will be up against players. They like to mark them, so we want to try and take away that luxury and try and, I'm not saying confuse, that's the wrong word. We want to pose them a problem, and that was the idea behind it. So, you know, nothing about Charlie, Andre, then they're coming back. We've got 3 good quality centre forwards, so we've got to make sure we maximise them, their attributes at the right time. If Chris hadn't been, if it was 11v11, Charlie would have been involved in this evening. Absolutely, we would have made it. We knew what we wanted to do later in the game, involving Charlie and Andre. But unfortunately, that option was taken away from us.
And we spoke on Saturday about having Stefan and obviously Jeff together. We got our wish today, and they seem to do really well together. Yeah,
the idea was to play Steph in the middle with Jeff on one side, Elias the other. You know, sometimes we were too high, so going too long, too early. But when we got that shape right, there's good footballers in there. You look at Sam Field, who's a top draw young player. Look at Sam, someone like Jeff Hendrick and Stephanie Hansen, the SGA together with Chrissy ahead. There's some good footballers in there, but there's also some good energy and legs and some steel. You need some steel out there. You have to win your tackles and your duels. And I think you saw that for the vast majority, certainly in the second half. So delighted with that. There's more to come, but to have Luke Amos, Ona Dazelle and Don Ball and boys of that nature behind it, we're in a good place.